And it seems to be a growing area of litigation, but not only that in the sense of the concepts of claims, isn't it? It's not just because the person didn't give me, they've written out the will, they are owed something because they went bankrupt or whatever, but there's some...
People getting all creative. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Well, I think it's not just they missed out because they were financially, they were unequally financially provided for. It's more of an equity issue, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah.
Just people,
People get coming up with all sorts of excuses. Yeah. And it's just the litigation that eats into the estate. Yeah. So that's the threat. Eat up all the money through litigation.
So how does that translate to relationships? Do you think?
In the sense that people inside the family members can create cartels to one party against another to defend the claim and all the family then comes out. You probably get that too.
That's the point, yeah.
He did this to me and she didn't do, and I did all the washing and they never did it. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's obviously under the Family Provisions Act, so you'll obviously know all about that. So there's I'm just sort of throwing out ideas here just to make it a bit of fun, but you can use a lot of economic principles in the way we have our relationships, and as I said, we're really just hunter-gatherer societies, despairing in a much more civilised society that we live in today. But this is my summary of how it all works. So the man starts work, the woman starts work, the woman gets pregnant, the man has to work harder, and he works harder again, and goes through life, and then he dies. And with the women, they have great change in their life. This might surprise me, you have to reinvent yourself so many times when you have the child, go back to work, reinvent yourself, go have children again. You're always continually reinventing yourself in your lifestyles. And
when do we get to work harder?
You're working hard all through.
Oh, good.
But the key thing is that you have a lot more purpose in life, I suppose. I'll put that in context that the children creates a great purpose in life for women. I mean, men too, but you're obviously more linked to the children because you're doing the shopping, you're making sure they get the homework done. There's a lot more things that you get involved with.
Well, hopefully that doesn't continue forever. Hopefully the men just decide to be a bit more involved.
Or we might kill them off.
We actually
Just try number two.
We actually don't need them. Did you know you can make babies from 2 female eggs? You can only make a female, but you can make children. So we don't need men at all.
That sounds like a threat.
Well, that's right. It's a test tube babies. But I suppose that's where you have a lot more change in your life, and you have to really integrate. And one of the things I point out to men is that men, why I say you just die, is because there's no much purpose in life because you've just worked, work and work. Women have had all these social relationships. Every time you had went to have children at school or having childbirth, you create a whole range of relationships outside of work that are stronger than just the male relationships. Because when you leave from work as a male, all your friends say, oh, we'll keep up, catch up for coffee, we'll keep up and all that, so let's see you later, never see you again, So the men have...
Play golf.
Yeah, well, they go and play golf, but unless they've got a social network, but the golf social network is only with their other friends who are retired, you see. So one person could be retired and their all friends are still at work. So that limits the sort of the social network for the males.
Why does Adam play so much golf? Adam's a young boy.
He's protecting himself when he gets to here. He doesn't want to get alone in his mansion. So I was just saying that's just a way of looking at it, that females have to have a lot more social relationships. And it's just coming back to this concept of in the hunter-gatherer societies they had to be much more social to work, and resources were important to get them for their children and their families. So they're much more used to working in networks and working with other women to achieve your objectives. So that's just a...
So in this column where it's men start work, and it's all work.
Yeah.
And earlier in your slide, we're talking about how men are completely becoming marginalised. Like, that we don't need their strength, we don't need them to pull a cart,
Yeah.
So they're jobs for the men, or what was considered male jobs, are no longer around.
Not as many that sort of that's
Yeah,
physical
we're not
work,
building railroads and things.
No.
We're now behind a computer doing IT and all that.
Mm.
So what are they working for?
Well, males are still working,
Paid
but
school
you see,
fees, whilst we're buying handbags.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But I
they're-
would say too is that you often find the men are still doing the outside type work, but they might be a courier, they might be a tradesperson, they might be doing the gardens, but often some of those jobs are very low paid. And one of the things I would argue is that because women are going into office work, they're getting better paid than some of the males, and that becomes a distortion that men are sometimes losing their status because they're getting low paid jobs, and then women are getting better paid jobs because they're in an office environment where you can get better paid.
But then they're leaving to have babies.
Yeah, but
that's
that doesn't
cause
necessarily. There's obviously moves into that, but you've got to remember that 60% of females are now coming out of university, so they're getting more of the tertiary education than males are getting. So the males are tending to go into more the trades jobs, the physical jobs, and therefore not as well paid as a generally office job. It's not as much security. You've got to be physical. If you're doing a gardening job, there's only so long you can do that because you physically wear out in that job. Whereas an office job, you can do it into the 60s and 70s if you want to. So I'm just sort of showing you there's a big change in the way we live, and this social relationships is coming up probably in divorces because the male's been in a way sort of felt that he's more marginalised because the value of his strength and that's not as much, and women's values are going up because their values of education and training and language skills are much higher value in society. So it's a
I'm just laughing at Catherine. Where does the divorce fit in that?
Yeah.
Well, because then if we're saying that women have better social networks, then when we split up from the guy, we'll be fine because we've got our social networks. But the bloke doesn't have any social networks, so he just needs to get another partner,
Which is why
Yeah.
statistically,
which is why they have more
statistically
divorces.
men repartner
Yeah.
so much faster after.
yeah, because they
Women do. Yes.
women
It means suicide more too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
oh yeah okay because of the
because they don't have those social networks.
yes because there's no social network to
But
provide.
they have all the money.
And they're working to pay child support and spouse maintenance.
If we have
Yes,
one.
the people do that. Siobhan asked
Women with no children.
No children.
Yeah. It's just one thing about the males in this sort of situation where the divorce happening is that they're going for younger females, which they're attracted because there's one way of thinking about it. Because males are just working all through here, they're generally getting more and more income. Whereas because you've got reduction in because you're coming in out of workforce, you're not going to go and try and have a full-time job and want the same pressures that a male who's continually working can take. So the male over here, as he's gaining into his 50s, 60s, is having at the top of his income, top of his profession, is then more attractive for younger females. You see, this is the Edelson effect that he can actually attract young females because he's got this wealth. Not that he's very attractive, he might be, but the thing is, there's this relationship now. Why do young women go for older men? Why don't older women get younger men?
Maybe
It's not happening the other way.
nowadays they do, I don't know.
Which is why the changes to the superannuation law and the child support system were both great social things as well as legislative ones because it redirected income from the men to the women after marriage breakdown, and the Child Support Assessment Act meant that continually working, earning the higher income then meant that they had to pay appropriate amounts for child support.
Yeah.
So over the last 20 years there's certainly been a shift legally towards addressing some of these consequences of past patterns of work and child raising.
Yeah, that's right. It's bringing it back to equity 60-40 to the female rather than 40-60 or something like that. And women generally keeping the house, the husband generally keeps the super fund. Is that what I've
No, I split the super. It's far too valuable.
Okay, get the super as well. That's right. That's good. So anyway, I just thought some stuff that I've come together. I don't know. You might find it a bit boring, but the whole thing is just to sort of look at ways we live in society and to think it really has its roots going back to the hunter-gatherer societies. We're just we're very smart as an animal. We can put people on the moon. We can save lots of lives through medicines. We have got great education systems. Incredible society. Never seen a society as wealthy as it is today in the mass around the world. Now, hopefully that'll continue on, but most civilizations from Rome to Greece have a time period. you know, it might be 100, 200 years, maybe it all disintegrates for some reason. So, but anyway, we're living in extraordinary times, and women have got a lot more economic power and wealth in our society, got more better jobs and have great careers, and still can have the children along the way. So if they want to, so it's all in your court, you know.
As it should be.
Thanks, Russell.
Yeah.
Thanks very
And
much.
you hope not too controversial.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming in.
We've got to go back to work.
You guys.
You won't